रोशनी का कारवां।
This podcast is brought to you by Barrier Break Solutions Private Limited and Score Foundation.
ये है रोशनी, रोशनी, रोशनी का कारवां, रोशनी। Eyeway, ये है रोशनी का कारवां।
Hi, my name is George Abraham and welcome to this edition of Eyeway Conversations. My guest today is Sadaf Khan, a young HR professional with a tech giant. Hi, Sadaf, welcome.
Hello, sir. Thank you so much, sir, for having me here.
So, Sadaf, you work with a tech giant as an HR professional.
Right.
A lot of our listeners would love to know what you as a visually impaired person is doing as an HR professional. Let's begin from there.
So my journey into HR started with talent acquisition, and I'm still into talent acquisition because I love it. Why I love it, because I get to meet new people and explore personalities, and that's exactly why I'm here in my role. So I work in the entire process. I've worked in the entire process of talent acquisition, right from sourcing to interviewing and to final process of offering candidates. That's my role in a nutshell. So talking in a chronological order, I started my journey with EY for 3 months internship. Then I worked into startups, and then again in EY from 2018. And now I got an better opportunity in a tech giant. So here I am.
So, HR is a space where a number of visually impaired people also work.
Right.
Possibly, what are the various roles that blind and visually impaired people normally do in HR?
So a lot of people are working into recruitment or talent acquisition, as it is called. A lot of them are also working into performance management and performance appraisal opportunities, employee engagement opportunities. There are a very few people working into HR analytics because analytics softwares are yet not highly accessible. Then, of course, training and development is another area where a lot of them are working.
So, what are the kind of qualifications required for a person to be eligible for a role in HR besides the MBA?
Yeah. So a lot of people doing BBA also are hired into HR. Obviously, MBA is the most suitable and highly paid qualification in the role of HR. But here also, so psychology also is one branch of psychology, that is industrial psychology, is another qualification that is eligible for the role. Having said that, in small firms there is no barrier of qualification. It's only the bigger firms that have, or the multinational firms as they're called, have this qualification criteria that they define in their job description. Otherwise, I don't think there's any barrier of qualification in the field of human resources.
When a multinational or a large company hires people in the HR or any other role in their company, what is the process they actually follow? How do people get to know that a job is available?
So advertisements are made online. These hiring platforms like Naukri, Times Jobs, Indeed, all of these hiring portals that are available. The job description is put, the advertisement of the opening is put. Also, all the large companies have their own career portals. So one has to, so if you sign up for their notifications, you do get mails also from their internal career portal. And there are staffing agencies also that they partner with. So even they get in touch with you.
So, Sadaf, you did industrial psychology for your master's, and before that, you did your bachelor's in psychology.
Yeah,
and
right.
Psychology normally is a no-no when it comes to blind and visually impaired people. People are discouraged to do it.
Yes.
Discouraged from doing it.
Yes.
So, what's your story?
So you can say I was lucky enough because previously, so I graduated from Mumbai University, for the listeners' background. And the university didn't have any guidelines as to how they would conduct my practicals for me, because there are practicals that they conduct in the examinations. And just before me, there was a court case that was fought by one of the students of Xavier's College, and because of which the university had guidelines in place. But obviously, it was very new, so colleges were not notified. So I was also discouraged. And then, but my college was always open to understand how I would cope up with the studies, right? I gave them a process. I explained them how they could help me, and they were open to understanding me, and then giving me admission in the majors of psychology, because that was the major challenge, right? If colleges don't accept you, then you can't take the challenge up. And so I took the challenge because my college was supporting me. um I would conduct my experiments with the help of braille cards and recordings. So I would record the response of the participant, because one thing that is to be tested during the experiment is the time that the participant takes, along obviously with the expressions that the participant is displaying. Now, people listening to me would be having a question: how would I see the expressions of the participant because I'm blind? So I had an assistant with me. Just like we have writers during exams, we had our assistants, and she would observe the participants' responses and expressions. And later on, once the participant is done with the experiment, we both would sit together and write the assessment.
Another challenge, I believe, which psychology students have, especially those who are blind, is the various tools which are statistics or mathematics oriented.
Yeah.
How do you deal with that?
For me, it was a very native way of handling things, because I didn't have access to technology at that time. I just had my phone, and laptop in my life came very much later during my masters. So for me, it was Taylor's frame, Abacus, and obviously my writers would explain me things, and that's how I would do. So I spent additional time with my volunteers and professors to understand things. Of course, now people have math, ML, and other uh, things to deal with, other softwares to deal with mathematic problems. But for me, it was slightly different. I would make my notes in Braille of statistics as well, and then understand the different ways a statistic problem can be solved, and then accordingly would dictate my writer my answers.
Normally, college time is when you also kind of socialize and make friends and so on.
Yes.
But blind and visually impaired students normally, I've seen, find it difficult to make friends. What was your social life like while you were in college?
Oh, my story was very different. So I was able to cope up with a lot of my studies because of my friends. I didn't have many friends, but I had, 2 or 3 friends that were there with me and are still there with me. So my social life was very much different from others' experience, I would say. I used to roam out with them. A lot of my volunteers became my friends, and they are still my friends. So that is a positive thing that I could say about me. Yeah.
So, college time is the time when you go out for movies, go out for meals at restaurants, go out and eat an ice cream, go out on picnics. Did these things kind of feature in your college life?
Of course it did. We would go first show, first day. Sometimes 8 a.m. in the morning, we would go out for movies, and my friends would audio describe me things. There were times when we bunked our first lecture of the morning and went out for a walk on a beach, because Jew Beach was very close to my college. That whole experience of bunking college and spending time with friends is something that I really, really miss. I was also active in the cultural activities of my college, because Mitibai College is known for its cultural activities. So I had a lot more friends in the music team that I was in. So we would bunk college and sit and jam together. And then, it was difficult because you also have to see that teachers don't see you bunking, right? So that entire experience of escaping professors and enjoying is something phenomenal.
If you know of anyone with vision impairment who needs guidance on living life with blindness, please share the Eyeway National Toll-Free Helpline number 1-800-5320-469. The number is 1-800-5320-469.
Sadaf, you lost your eyesight very early in life. What was the cause, and how did you respond at that point of time? What was your experience?
Yeah, so I lost my eyesight when I was 3 years old, and I don't have any memories of that, but my mom keeps talking to me about it, so I know the story. I got high fever, and post which I lost my eyesight slowly. My eye turned red, tomato red, and post which gradually my eyesight kept reducing. And my parents obviously didn't realize at the start because they had to observe very minute changes in my behavior, such as not writing on the lines of a book, right? Then my teacher complained to my parents that she cannot spot things when things fall down on the floor. That's how they also discovered. And then doctors were not able to understand for almost a year. And then we discovered that I had cataract, and I was I was operated for cataract at the age of 3.5 years old, for one eye, and after 1 month I lost eyesight from both the eyes. So I got to know later that something went wrong during the operation, because of which I am blind today. But this is something that we got to know when I was like around 7-8 year old. So yeah, that's the story of my blindness.
So did you have partial vision in your early years, like when you were 5,
No.
6, and all that?
No, I didn't.
So I understand that you went to a mainstream school right from the beginning.
Correct.
How did that decision happen, and what was your experience like? What were your support systems?
So, I was the only child of my parents back then, and honestly speaking, first child being blind was a big worry for my parents as well. All the blind schools that were there were having a hostel facility, those were boarding schools basically, and my parents didn't want me to go away from them for so long. So they didn't send me. So I had a break of 1 year in my schooling. 1 year I was home completely. And then my family discovered that there is some institute called National Association for the Blind. And that's how NAB, encouraged my family to send me to a mainstream school. And my parents also realized that, once I go to college, it's going to be the mainstream society that I'll have to deal with. And it's crucial for me to spend time with them, adapt to the society from now. And I'm really happy they did that, because I wouldn't have been myself if it wasn't this decision.
So, did you get your support from NAB, or when you were studying in school, or was it the school itself, or was it all support coming from home?
Oh, it was a mixture of all of that. So my first school when I got blind was Wadia. And Wadia was more than forthcoming to give me admission. And the school was very supportive. My family was even more supportive along with NAB. So I told you I did my studies in Braille completely. So my brothers and my father would write notes for me, bring the students' books home, and that's how my father would make notes for me. My brother would sit there. My cousins, all my cousins have helped me in my studies, so they would sit there, make notes, and then I would make notes in Braille, and that's how I got my support. And my NAB teachers also would come sometimes to school to see how things are going, how are teachers helping me, and ensure that I adapt to this world of mine.
No, it is pretty interesting that your parents were very committed to ensuring that you were educated and well equipped
Yes.
for life. Any particular reason that they have any kind of prior experience with disability, or they were kind of just enlightened people?
No, so my father was a person with disability himself. He lost his leg in an accident, and he knew what living a life of a disabled person is, and so did my mom. And that's how both of them were committed to making me educated. So when my father was not there home handling business, it was my mom who would teach me. And then when my father would come, it was my father, because obviously learning in Braille takes its own sweet time. You have to convert your notes into Braille. It's not like Xerox kar liya and then you read it, right? It involves a lot of external support as well. So, yeah.
So I also believe that at the age of 10, you were hit by another setback, rheumatoid arthritis.
Yes.
How did that impact? What exactly was this experience, and how did that impact your schooling and life in general?
Okay, so that was, I think, I would say a bigger setback, because that is something that I remember of experiencing. So I experienced mild to higher pain in my knee initially, and I, being that young, didn't realize what's happening with me. So I would just complain to my parents, and my parents started my medication. The doctors did not uh, at first diagnose that it is arthritis. That's how it got worse. And the medicines were somehow helping me. So we started with homeopathy. And I took a break from the medication because I was okay then. I was doing fine. I didn't have pain. And then as soon as I stopped the medicine, it hit me harder. And I was bedridden for a year when I was in 7th standard. So that's when things got worse. And I couldn't go to school. I couldn't even sit up for a minute because my back would ache. So I would eat and drink lying down. My father and my mom would feed me when I was lying down. That was the condition. But I can't, because my parents were determined to make me educated. I continued my studies. I would just go and give my exams. And all the preparation that was to be done would be done in that condition only. So I would lie down and study also. But so I cleared my exams of 7th standard, and then I moved into a new school which was close by, because traveling was also difficult in that situation, right? So things got better in a year and a half. My medications improved my condition a little bit, but I couldn't stand without support. So for me, if I have sat down somewhere, getting up would take another 2 minutes because my knees were stiff. So I took admission in St. Joseph's Convent High School. Um, Again, shifting a new school for a person with blindness, you would know it's a challenging thing. But again, I have been lucky enough to have the best of the support systems. That was the scene. And until my 12th, which is around in 2012, I was not in a very good condition. I couldn't walk properly. I couldn't walk without support majorly. So that's how my school life has been. So my school life has not been as good as my college life, I would say.
So after you started working, you also been very active with the NGO Blind Graduates Forum of India, PGFI, and I believe you are the youngest president the organization has had, and maybe the youngest president any NGO might have had in India. So what are some of your pet projects that you've been excited by and you enjoyed doing?
Oh, this is difficult to say one project, because I love what the NGO at large does. But very close to my heart is the mentorship program and the knowledge sharing session. I'm taking the liberty of choosing two. Uh, because through knowledge sharing sessions, we do a lot of awareness building and training people with blindness, and developing their interpersonal skills. And the other one is a mentorship program, which is also close to my heart because as a student who is blind, we face a lot of challenges, and having a guidance through someone who's gone through similar challenges is very crucial and important, and changes the entire outcome of one's career substantially. So yeah, these are the two projects.
I also believe that BGFI does a lot of advocacy work.
Correct.
Any of the advocacy work that stands out in your mind?
Yeah. So I have I have been part of one advocacy work, actually many advocacy work, but again, two which have been very close to my heart is one is the making digital currency accessible. When I say digital currency, I mean the digital payment platforms accessible. I've got the opportunity to meet Mr. Nandan Nilekani, and have had certain conversations with him. So that was a learning for me, and that's how it is special. I've also been part of this project where we created audio description of a movie called Dabang 3. When the movie was released in audio description, rather. So I met Salman Khan. I made him aware of what audio description is all about, and they were very forthcoming to release the movie with audio description. So we have the audio description through Excel Cinema. Yeah, so these are the two advocacy works that have been very close to my heart, apart from many other things like we keep doing. We've also collaborated with Big Basket and other things. Yeah.
So Khan met Khan, right?
Yes.
To support our work with the blind and visually impaired, you can visit the donate page on our website www.scorefoundation.org.in. Please note www.scorefoundation.org.in.
So finally, how does Sadaf Khan relax? What is fun? What do you do for relaxing and fun?
I am a social animal, and my relaxation comes with my friends. I love meeting my friends. I love spending time with them. So I talk to a lot of them when I need relaxation. I need change in mood. I also read. I love reading. I am a big fan of fiction, so I read. I listen to music, and I love exploring new places myself. So I love traveling, and I love traveling independently. I don't I don't want to go with people helping me out. So exploration, I'm very high on exploration. So I just love going and exploring new places, uh, developing new challenges, and then trying to cope up with them.
Tell me a little bit about your traveling, because this could be useful for a lot of people.
So I use GPS, which gives me voice direction, and that has really, really made a big change in my life. And I use the white cane that every blind person uses. When I go, into another city, I use the assistance given at the airport. That is, if you inform the company in advance, they give you assistance on the gate, right? They give you a person who can escort you till the aircraft and help you to board, and then come out of the plane. So that's exactly how I travel.
So what are some of the cities that you've enjoyed traveling in India or overseas?
I've not been very fortunate to go overseas yet, but I've been to Delhi, I've been to Jaipur, I've been to Pune, and my traveling just started in 2018. So I've not got the time to, uh, visit outside Mumbai a lot. But yeah, within Mumbai, I keep exploring things.
Well, Sadaf, a pleasure talking to you. Thank you for giving me the time and sharing some of your life experiences.
Thank you so much for having me, sir, and thank you so very much for the opportunity.
Eyeway, ये है रोशनी का कारवां.
This podcast was brought to you by Barrier Break Solutions Private Limited and Score Foundation.